Welcome to Happy Headlines with Chico Chad, as I bring you inspirational news by the Good News Network, who was started by Jerry Weis-Corbley. Now you can see Jerry here with her and now the Good News paperback book that is full of inspiring stories that has brought people joy all around the world. Now, she is #1 on Amazon for journalism. I would suggest go out and support Jerry. Buy the book now. Jerry also hosts the GNN podcast with a co-host, Anthony, and you can find them on iTunes as the Good News Gurus. And you can also find them on Android on Podbean. If you're an Android lover, I definitely would suggest downloading Podbean and listening to the Good News Gurus. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Anthony. It's time for the Happy Headlines. Here's today's quote for October 8th, 2020. You may not be responsible for being down, but you must be responsible for getting up. Quote, unquote, by Jesse Jackson. There are a few ways that you can show your support for the Good News Network, and this is just one of many. Now, I'm going to give you the story behind this scarf, which is very heartfelt and heartwarming to me, so I would love to share it with you. The N95 scarf and mask filter the air around you by 99%, and they can go anywhere from $29 to $69. Now, this is a fashionable scarf, gaiter, and the face mask. It is also designed to filter the air, blocking out 95% of common contaminants and 99% of germs and the cause of cold and flu, including COVID-19. The G95 Bio Scarf began as a fashionable, sustainable way to filter the air, blocking out many of the common contaminants associated with air pollution and germs. The cause, colds, viruses, influenza, and after COVID-19 pandemic hit, this American company added masks to their product lines, which are now getting glowing reviews. Okay, so it started back in 2016. A patent pending for personal protective apparel, 3 layers of protective guard against hazardous particles that pose a risk to your health. With this U.S. rating of N95, the generously sized scarves and convenient gaiters and masks are capable of blocking 99.75% of all particles, 0.1 microns in size or larger, and 95% of non-oil-based airborne particles measuring 0.3 microns. It is a lovely story. During a business trip in China, Carlton Seoul became ill, most likely due to complications related to air pollution. As an alternative to wearing masks and protect himself, he turned to fashion. Back in Atlanta, his wife Hazel came up with the idea to begin a product that would work both as a scarf and also a filter. This may be the last mask you ever buy, people. Maybe not the last scarf, because you can always buy another scarf, but this may be the last mask that you ever buy. I would definitely suggest getting this scarf. Happy Headlines brought to you by Chico Chad. Good news in history, October 8th. That looks like Matt Damon. It is Matt Damon. Happy birthday to Matt Damon, who turns 50 today. Despite knowing he wanted to pursue acting, Damon studied English at Harvard, dropping out just 12 credits shy of graduating. He grew up in Boston with his fellow actor Ben Affleck, and together they co-wrote Good Will Hunting. They took it to Hollywood, but only would sell it if the pair were cast as the lead actors. After many doors slammed, they were indeed cast, and the film won Best Picture Oscar. The versatile leading man who starred in Saving Private Ryan, Serena, the Jason Bourne series. He also played the comic Ocean Trilogy, is one of the highest grossing actors of all time, and received Academy Award nominations for his role as a rugby player in Invictus and a stranded astronaut in The Martian, and another for producing the 2016 film Manchester by the Sea. Last year, he thrilled audience portraying a race car driver, Carroll Shelby, in the Oscar-nominated Ford versus Ferrari. Damon co-founded the organization H2O and Water.org, which brings clean drinking water to millions of people around the world and is active in charities like Feeding America. More good news on this date. The silent comedy short film The Second 100 Years premiered, starring Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy together for the first time. The New York Yankees team member Don Larson pitched the only perfect game ever in World Series history, taking the mound in Game 5. 50 years ago, the Soviet Union, Alexander Sloskashine, was named winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature, in part for making the world aware of the Soviet Gulag concentration camps, and later was exiled for his book. John Lennon released his mega hit, Imagine. 15 years after Pink Floyd's album, The Dark Side of the Moon, was released, the groundbreaking LP finished its record-breaking run after 741 weeks on the Billboard's charts, with 50 million copies sold, all lyrics written by Roger Waters, as one of the most successful albums of all time. Day of Independence in Croatia. Happy 77th birthday to Chevy Chase, who earned 3 Emmys as both the performer and writer on Saturday Night Live. For SNL's debut show, Chase created the first fake news show and played the anchor himself. He would open the segment pretending to be the phones talking to his lover until realizing he was on the air, and then greet the audience with, "Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Chevy Chase, and you're not." A master improviser and brilliant physical comic, his film's performances include Foul Play, National Lampoon's Vacation, playing Clark Griswold, Fletch, Caddyshack, and Three Amigos. He also had a role in TV's Community. Happy 34th birthday to Bruno Mars, the vocalist on Uptown Funk, a 2014 song that topped the charts worldwide. Born Peter Gene Hernandez in Hawaii, the singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist debut album Doo-Wops and Hooligans included the hits Just the Way You Are and Grenade. Happy birthday to Signal War Reaver, who today celebrates her 71st birthday. The actress' groundbreaking 1979 performance as a fearless female and heroine in Alien, which was her first major role, earned one of her 3 Academy Award nominations. Her character as Ellen Ripley is often considered one of the most significant female in all of cinema. Sigourney Weaver, who graduated from Stanford University with English degree and earned a master's in fine arts from Yale Drama School, also received a Tony Award nomination for her work on Broadway. She won awards for her films Gorillas in the Mist and the comedy Working Girl, and is remembered for Ghostbusters, Avatar, The Year of Living Dangerous, the first of which is scheduled to release in 2021. This simple morning practice can pave your path to wealth and prosperity. The lesson. Since I interviewed the author of Path to Wealth last year, I began to practice her morning routine, which takes 25 minutes, and within a couple of months, I experienced what I can only call a miracle. My company's revenue more than quadrupled after I got intuition to answer a routine sales email, which turned everything around. When I adopted my morning practice of focusing on the goal of receiving thousands more in revenue, it came to pass effortlessly. And I am encouraging everyone to give it a try. Notable excerpt. Success is a system, not a secret. When people practice the path to wealth, they manifest stuff like crazy. I mean, it's kind of shocking, but sometimes they really struggle seeing those intuitive leads for the really giant goals that they don't believe are possible. So, how do we shift beliefs? Usually, the daily practice on a repetitive basis and making what you want seem more familiar and welcome, which will shift your belief into one of the possibility. It is possible. It is possible, people. The guest. Since 1982, May McCarthy has co-founded and grown several successful companies in a variety of industries as large as 250 employees with over 100 million in annual revenue. She believes that her increasing success, fun, and growth are due to her partnership with her own source of intuition. She shares her experience with others as an author, professional speaker, and executive consultant, and travels the world with the purpose of elevating prosperity and freedom for all. Here you can see the book, McCarthy's first book, The Path of Wealth, 7 Spiritual Steps to Financial Abundance, provides the daily roadmap to help you achieve your financial happiness and goals. Her second book, The Gratitude Formula, a 7-step success system to create a life that you love, expounds on her definable practical system that can help you achieve success in your relationships, careers, finances, health, personal pursuits, spiritual growth, and virtually any other aspect of your life. The podcast, the Good News Network podcast produced by the Good News Network, is available on iTunes and Podbean, as well as on the website's Good Talks page. So here, you can check out her 7 steps to success. Step 1, read something spiritual and uplifting to get in a receptive mood. 6:10 a.m. Write out gratitude statements and a letter to the CSO. Include these things that I am grateful for and those that I want as though they are already manifest in my life. Step 3, speak as I read my letter out loud with emotion. Step 4, imagine, think about, and feel grateful for all that I have listed in my desires and as though I have already have them. What does it feel like to have them now? How do I look having those things or experience? I may hear or feel some guidance from the CSO as a direction to do something. If I do, I'll write it below. I may or may not hear or feel any guidance about what steps I should take while I'm in the meeting. That's okay. If I do, I'll follow the directions as asked for another lead. Step 5, watch every moment of the day for a sign or something intuitive direction to take the next step toward my desired good instead of simply hoping. Expect these signs will show up, and when they do, don't overanalyze the instructions. Today I will follow the intuitive leads, flashes, and hunches that I receive and will list them below. 6, celebrate and expressing gratitude in joyful way when something good happens that is related to what I want by calling a friend or texting a relative to celebrate. Today I celebrate the good of being #1 on YouTube. The final step happens at night. Just before you go to sleep, as I prepare to settle into bed, I say out loud gratitude statements for anything that I can remember off the top of my head that happened that day. Use your notes if you'd like to be more specific when you do this. After thanking the CSO for these things, I commit to forgiving anyone, including myself, for anything that has been done in the past or present that needs to be cleared out of my life. Okay, so I know a lot of you are asking yourself or asking me, what is a CSO? So a CSO is the Chief Spiritual Officer. So you can get the book on Amazon. There will be a link below in my YouTube channel for you to retrieve the book. Winter is coming. Are you dreading a dark winter lockdown? You need to think like a Norwegian. At the beginning of the pandemic in Europe and North America, experts feared that if cases weren't under control or if a vaccine wasn't available by the time winter arrived in the Northern Hemisphere, we would see case numbers rise to parallel with seasonal winter time. While this might make winter seem like a season to dread, perhaps even more so than usual, with the arrival of cold nights, psychologists have been looking at the curious people of Norway, only a small proportion of whom suffer from the seasonal affective disorder, and typically befalls people during winter months of reduced sunshine, increased time indoors, and fewer daylight hours. Is there something to take away from the Norwegians' unique cultural mindset as the air temp falls and COVID-19 cases numbers carry on mounting? Let's see ways the Norwegians stay positive. Framing in the psychological sense is as simple as a narrative of present, past, or future circumstances that plays in your head. Numerous papers have been published indicating that framing can have a direct influence on overall mental health. Framing has already been proven to be present in our society during the short time COVID-19 has been with us, as shown by German psychologists Hans Zacher and Kurt W. Rudolph, when they demonstrated the positive attitudes during March through May of 2020 were correlated with controllability appraisals, with negative attitudes were correlated with central appraisals. Carrie Limbowitz is an American psychologist studying Norwegians' attitudes towards their long, sunless winter above the Arctic Circle, residing in the Norwegian town of Trøsøy. So, observe how the people are tended to view the winter as a challenge, even more often like an opportunity to act of reframing that resulted in the residents scoring higher on Libowitz's wintertime mindset scale and even their southern neighbors in the capital of Oslo. There are many things to enjoy about winter. I love the coziness of the winter months. Winter brings many wonderful seasonal changes. And winter is boring. Winter is limiting time of year. There are many things to dislike about winter. Happy headlines! Teens transform liquor store into a needed food market, choosing the best way to serve Chicago. From darkness comes light, from despair comes hope, from passion comes change. In the wake of a turbulent racial protest in America's Midwest, a group of teenagers in Chicago's Austin neighborhood were looking for a way to uplift the West Side community, and they found it. With a little help from their friends, a galvanized group of young entrepreneurs transformed a gutted liquor store and Austin Harvest, a pop-up food market, to provide healthy food alternatives for their undeserved neighborhood. The genesis of the project began with listening circles like the Hand Club for Kids. What I heard coming out was the students wanting to take all those raw and powerful emotions and turn them into something good and to do something from a social justice standpoint. The group's executive director, Donita Travis, told Book Club of Chicago. One of the issues that kids felt about most urgently was the shortage of healthy food options in the area, the result of years of systematic neglect and racism. For areas like Austin classified as food deserts, groceries and fresh produce are difficult to come by even in the best times. The situation worsened when several area grocery stores were forced to close temporarily after being looted. Within a half-mile radius, Austin Harvest has since sprung to life, where there were formerly a dozen liquor stores, but only 2 food markets. Food is a basic necessity. Azara Baker, a teen who'd been with Austin Harvest since its inception, told BCC, but it's also a basic necessity we do not have access to. The project got enthusiastic backing from a number of professional athletes. Former Chicago Bears linebacker Sam Ocko led the charge. People care. It's time for people to show up. I think our world has changed, Ocko told BCC. So for us to be able to come together and say we're going to lead that change, it means something. Other athletes who contributed to the cause included Blackhawks Jonathan Toews, Bears quarterback Mitch Trubisky, of the Bears White Sox pitcher Lucas Giolito, Cubs outfielder Jason Hayward, and St. Louis Cardinals first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Together, they raised $500,000 in seed money to get the project rolling. That is great. That is awesome news. Thank you so much, guys, for going out there and being the spearhead of the spear. While By the Hand brought in architects and branding experts for guidance, the vision for Austin Harvest was shaped and implemented by the youthful participants. We've been behind the scenes completely, Baker said. We've discussed how we want to show our market, where we wanted our market to be, and what we sell and what we look like. This is who runs it. Thank you. Thank you for letting these kids live their dream. Thank you, kids, for not backing out. Taking a teach someone to fish rather than give them a fish approach. The Hatchery Chicago also pitched in, offer hands-on lessons in real-world business skills, including licensing and customer service, as well as the Culinary Paths program aimed at helping interested teens work towards careers in the food industry. This is a real entrepreneurship opportunity for them, Travis noted, but also an opportunity for them to bring food justice to our neighborhood. Austin Harvest officially opened August 24th and is set to run for 12 weeks. Hours are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Please, if you're in the Chicago area, go by and show them some love. Happy headlines! Scientists discover a new way to save endangered baby sea turtles using GPS. By placing 3D printed and GPS-enabled decoy sea turtle eggs into the nest on the beach, it could be possible to gather key evidence needed to expose illegal trading of the eggs. This is the finding of a new study published by the journal Current Biology. According to the release from Cell Press, the researchers specifically tested how well the decoy eggs work and their safety for endangered turtles. Our research showed that placing a decoy into the turtle nest did not damage the incubating embryos, and that the decoys work, says lead author Helen Feasley of the University of Kent. We showed that it is possible to track illegally moved eggs from beach to end consumer, as shown by the longest track, which identified the entire trade chain converting 137 kilometers. The egg decoys, dubbed Invest Eggator, were developed by the conservation organization Paso Pacifico to address the illegal trade of endangered sea turtles in Central America, where the eggs are smuggled from beaches and sold to restaurants and bars as a delicacy. A fisherman has a decade-long friendship with a blind seal who follows him each day. A fisherman has formed the unlikeliest of decade-long friendships with a blind seal who follows him every day. Nicholas Lewis first met Shawana the seal in 2010 when she was just a pup. She poked her head out of the water looking for some food. Ever since the sociable seal has greeted Nicholas at the steps of Peel Bay on the Isle of Man to say hello. The 41-year-old crab and lobster fisherman says this is how he feels like Shawana is like his own child as he sees her every day and loves her very much. Shawana will spend her afternoons following one of Nicholas' 3 boats around the bay before enjoying 2 or 3 mackerel a day. The dad of 4 said, when she was just a pup, she appeared and we'd always feed her, and she became so confident and comfortable around us, I don't think we'll ever go a single morning without her coming to say hello. That is amazing. That is amazing. Look at her there waiting for her food. She came up to get her mackerel. I love it. Thanks for taking care of that blind seal, guys. Happy headlines! Spectacles belonging to Gandhi were mailed to an auction house with owner having no idea of their value. Wow. A pair of spectacles belonging to Mahatma Gandhi are expected to fetch thousands at auction after the owner mailed them in an envelope to auctioneers hoping to get a few bucks. The gold-colored glasses were gifted to the current owner's uncle by the famous leader during a trip to South Africa in the 1920s. The rare item was then passed down through generations before ending up in the mailbox of the auction house in Bristol, England. A sales price has now been set at between £10,000 and £15,000 for the spectacles, although it is thought that they could eventually go for much more. Gandhi, named Man of the Year by Time magazine in 1930, was a lawyer and activist whose nonviolent campaign successfully freed India from the British rule. Much like John Lennon, he developed a distinctive look in later life, which always included iconic glasses. Andrew Stowe from East Bristol Auction said, "We came in one morning and there were poking rather precariously out of the letterbox was a small envelope. In the envelope were a pair of spectacles along with the note which read, 'These are Gandhi's glasses,' and a phone number for the owner." Wow, that is awesome. It was the most bizarre 5 minutes of my career. A telephone call later and we learned the full story and set out our research. Once we dug a little deeper, we realized these glasses were find a huge historical importance. Gandhi is an iconic figure in world history. When one thinks of him, you conjure up and imagine his shawl, his sandals, and of course, his glasses. And here's a picture of Gandhi right here. Thank you for sending those glasses in. Thank you for giving us that bit of information about Gandhi. We love Gandhi. Gandhi, thank you for your contribution to the world. Happy Headlines was brought to you by Chico Chad. I want to thank you for joining me today. I give my gratitude to you. It has been wonderful bringing you important news, joyous news that can bring a smile to your face, warm your heart, even put some positive thoughts in your head, because that's what I'm here to do. That's what I want to do. And I want to thank you, everyone, for giving me a chance and listening to me. Have a gratitude day. Hello. Thank you for joining Chico Chad. I just want to say that I know I don't pronounce everyone's name correctly. Please forgive me. I know I make mistakes and I stumble up. Please forgive me. If you find it humorous, laugh. Maybe that's what I do it for. I do it so I can become better at what I do. One day I won't stumble up. One day I will just go straight through without any mistakes. And I know I can do it because I've done it before. I want to thank you once again for giving me a chance to be heard. And thank you for listening to me. Have a gratitude day.